welcome to Silverstone for the latest encounter of the Royal Purple Hot Hatch Championship. In 2018, it goes from strength to strength. Got over 20 cars on the grid this weekend. But leading Class A and leading the championship overall is Ben Rushworth in his Honda Integra Type R. Ben, you've had a mixed season. It still leaves you top of the championship. What can we expect here?
Yeah, we're dead equal on points with Steve next to us, so it's been a bit of a, when we are running, we do real well, but we've had a few small failures, sensors and stuff like that just stop you from finishing a race, but it's been good. Hopefully, if we can keep up the gap we got from quali, then fingers crossed it should be a nice, simple race, which is what I need after last time out. I just need some clean points.
Right, and it's wet this morning, rain's been on the track, it's a bit greasy. How are you going to approach it?
Slow in, fast out. Keep it simple and do nothing too fancy. Just stay on the track. If it does start drizzling a bit, we'll just see what happens. But it was a bit slippery in quali, but it wasn't too bad, to be honest.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers. So with that, let's see how Ben gets on. Here's Andy McEwen with race 1.
Thank you, Anthony. The cars lining up on the grid ahead of a damp first race here at Silverstone, with Ben Rushworth and Steve Sawley making up row 1, ahead of Roger Vella and Alistair Camp on the second row. Then it's Ben Leach and Phil Wright ahead of Martin Ward and Chris Southcott at the head of an immense field of 29 hot hatches ready to do battle around the Silverstone International Circuit here this morning. 13 minutes plus 1 lap in these sort of damp and slippery conditions, though that is plenty of time to squeeze in lots and lots of drama. So a damp track, rain in the air, and Ben Rushworth and Steve Sawley making it an all Honda row 1, the Integra alongside the Civic. The red lights go out, we're away in racing, and it doesn't look like a great start there for the pole sitter. So Steve Sawley gets the lead down towards turn number 1, and Roger Vella is diving up the inside as well. Rushworth will just about hang on to second position then, so it's Sawley from Rushworth from Vella, your top 3. Then it's the black Civic next in line as they all try to squeeze through, of Ben Leach, I believe, into 4th position. So Alistair Camp, the man who has slipped backwards slightly, but here he comes back up the inside in the green Ford Fiesta. But no, actually he's dropped down towards the tail end of the top 10. In actual fact, contact further back, and around goes the number 24 Renault Clio, unfortunately there, and that is not a good start to the race for Callum Houchen, who is actually 3rd place in the Class B Championship coming into this race. That's not the start to the race that he was after. Side-by-side action in front of us there. The number 33 car on the outside line is Sean Green. Diving up the inside of him was one of the Peugeot 106 rallies, but this is the lead battle with Steve Sawley just ahead of pole sitter Ben Rushworth. Now, you would imagine that in the wet conditions, the slightly longer wheel-based Integra might be a little more stable, but we know how powerful and also how fragile that car has been throughout the season so far. So this is certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination. Steve Sawley will fancy his chances of fending off the Integra, which with all its power might be struggling for traction out of the corners, but through the corners it seems to have really, really good pace. Out onto the pit straight they come, and Steve Sawley is just in front. They both run wide over the sodden and very, very slippery curbs and painted runoff areas there. That was risky stuff, but Rushworth not quite able to get up the inside in towards turn number 1 at Abbey Corner. On board with Paul Cockerell here. He has got one of the Civics in front of him. That's possibly Alex Tate, I believe, that he's trying to find a way past. Work their way through the end of the lap. This for the race lead though, and Rushworth's up the inside of Sawley at Village, and that will give him the inside line for the next corner as well, down at Chapel. As long as he can stay there. Steve Sawley though on the grippier side of the road maybe, hangs on to the leads as Rushworth outbrakes himself slightly in fact. Now, we will see that in the wet conditions the outside line is sometimes the grippiest place to be, but I don't think that was an intentional wide line that time for Rushworth, so Sawley hanging on for now. You can see the gap that they pulled over Roger and Vella in 3rd position, and then by the looks of it, Martin Ward's red Honda Civic Type R is now into 4th place from 7th on the grid, so Martin Ward with a good start to this race. Through Stowe Corner go the leading 2 though, and this is a circuit where overtaking is definitely possible, but you have to be pretty committed, and if you're racing against somebody like Steve Sawley, with whom we've seen he and Ben Rushworth have several battles over the course of the year so far, you know that you're not going to be able to just breeze past him. Ben Rushworth is going to have to really get quite inventive here, I think, to find a way past the little Civic. He's arguably a bit quicker though, because he's been able to close back in again throughout the second half of this lap after the moment that he had down at the exit of the first complex of corners. There's is your third place man Vella, fourth place for Martin Ward, then the black Civic of, I think that is still Ben Leach next in line, isn't it? Yes, it is, the number 50 car, followed by Alistair Camp, then number 63 is Philip Wright. So Phil Wright, who started the season off in Class A, now running in Class B, he's fourth in the Class B Championship, arriving here at Silverstone. Alistair Camp is third in the Class A Championship, and only 10 points behind the leaders, but he's all out of shape going down towards Village, and that was a miraculous save. He runs off the track and will lose one position there to Phil Wright, but that could have been an awful lot worse as Alistair Camp lost the rear of the car. That Fiesta is very stiffly sprung at the rear, and that can make it quite lively in these slippery conditions, as we witnessed there. So Camp did a good job to hang on, but has now lost a position. He's down into 7th place now, and he's just ahead of Christian Line in the green and black Honda Civic. Lots of Honda Civics, of course, racing within the Hot Hatch Championship, many of whom will have, or maybe still do, race within the Civic Cup. Side by side for the race leaders, though, and it is a Civic leading the way, one of the older shaped Civics, though, against the Integra of Ben Rushworth, who goes around the outside at Club Corner, finds some grip. They almost trade a bit of paint as they go into the second half of the corner. Steve Sawley leaps over the curb. That was all quite aggressive there from Ben Rushworth, but he had to make a move. He could tell that he was quicker, wanted to get out in front, and when he got onto the grippier side of the road, the traction pulled him clear, and as they tried to get through the next part of the corner, they almost made contact, but I think they just about avoided any serious paint trading, and so Ben Rushworth goes through into the race lead, and given the pace that he showed in qualifying, where he was 2.3 seconds quicker than Steve Sawley, he ought now to be able to use that pace to pull away, but in these rather grim conditions this morning at Silverstone, you never quite know what might happen. The Integra, though, you can see looks a bit more stable than the Civic, as Steve Sawley gets a bit sideways again there, heading out onto the Hangar Straight, so you would imagine that the conditions, as I suggested at the start of the race, might suit the Integra DC of Ben Rushworth a little better. But one mistake, and Steve Sawley will be straight back with him. In fact, he's not really dropping Steve Sawley at the moment in a straight line. These two cars very evenly matched. They work their way now through the long right-hander at Stowe, and Sawley just trying to find the grip there on the wider line. Really able to do it, though. The fight going on further back, though. This is Martin Ward just about still ahead of Ben Leach. This is for 4th position, the pair of slightly newer shaped Civic Type Rs than Steve Sawley's version. And it is the black and red car there, the skunk racing car of Ben Leach, who is applying the pressure and running wide over those painted curbs. In a front wheel drive car, you can sort of get away with it. You're unlikely to spin and lose control, but you're still going to spin up the front wheels, and as we saw there, understeers straight off the track, and that not only loses you time, but it puts you at the risk of receiving a track limits warning and then maybe a penalty if you keep on doing it. So it's a brave man in some ways who would exceed track limits in these conditions, because it's perilous once you wander over those white lines, but it can still be done, and you will still be penalised for it regardless of the conditions. For the time being, though, it looks as though the red car of Martin Ward is just able to pull away and keeping that train of cars behind him at a relatively safe distance. Roger and Vella, the orange car, is the lead Class B car. Now that is a car that runs in Class B because it's not a Type R Civic, it's just a standard Honda Civic, so it runs in Class B. He's got a very comfortable lead over Dawn Boyd in that class. Dawn in the Honda Civic Type R, car number 42, who we haven't yet seen in this race, but Roger and Vella, third overall, comfortably leading his class. Side by side here down towards the Vale complex. This is the number 22 Citroen Saxo, just about hanging on to the position, but only just. And as they work their way, 21, excuse me, it is, which runs very wide over the curbs, that's Michael Winkworth, who is the Class C points leader. And right behind him is Leon Shepherd in his Class B Ford Fiesta, who has a little bit more power, but through the corners, the little Saxo is holding its own. You can see the extra speed it takes into the corner, and right in front of them, one car running very wide over the runoff area. That was another one of the little Peugeots. Didn't quite catch the number on that car, but through will go Michael Winkworth, gains another position, and as they drop down in toward Village, he is continuing to climb up the order. The conditions definitely throwing a spanner in the works here for some of the more powerful cars. You can see the rain definitely still coming down here, and making visibility a challenge, even when you're not running actually that close to the car in front. You can see the ball of spray in front of us, but you can't see the car that's kicking it up, so it is pretty tricky out there at the moment in this first race of the weekend. We hope conditions will improve slightly for race 2 later on. Silverstone. You can see the rear of the car just twitching, just trying to break away. You're driving with your fingertips and you're imagining there's an egg underneath your accelerator pedal. You've got to be so gentle with the application of the throttle. Front-wheel drive cars, it's very easy to spin up the front wheels, understeer wide, lose time, and overwork the tyres as well, of course, whilst you're at it. Perhaps this battle that's going on between Leon Shepherd and Michael Winkworth. The Peugeot's back in front now, so Winkworth's lost one position. Then behind, we've got another little Civic and Saxo battle. That's Dawn Boyd there, who we are now seeing for the first time, second in Class B points. And Dawn Boyd lacking a rear bumper, I notice, at this stage of the race, so some sort of a drama there for that car in the early stages. Side by side up the road, that's the number 11 Saxo of Ian Williamson, losing a position to the Peugeot, which goes straight on again down at Abbey. Maybe a bit too much brake bias wound towards the front in that car, because it doesn't seem to want to turn under braking into the first corner. And it is the number 9 Peugeot, is that? No, it can't be. It's 191, there we go, which is Michael Harris, who is running in the Invitational class this weekend in his 205 GTI, but he goes back up the inside now of the Saxo of Ian Williamson, and again locks up and goes straight on, and Williamson has to dive out of the way to avoid contact. This brings Winkworth back into close proximity to those two. Now back towards the front of the field, and it looks as though Martin Ward in the number 12 car is really starting to come under pressure now. In front of him is Ben Leach. Behind him now is the 63 machine of Phil Wright. So I think there's been a change here, hasn't there? And it's all starting to get quite congested. Yes, he's lost one place. He's down into 5th place now then. Is Martin Ward. He qualified 7th, so he's still improved upon where he started. If he can keep these two cars behind him, then he will continue to have improved on his grid position, but that's looking less and less likely because he's under immense pressure here. Diving up the inside is Phil Wright down towards Village, but again the grippier line is not necessarily the inside line there. We've got the green Civic of Christian Line behind as well, car number 83, so a little Civic Type R battle raging here as they drop down the hill through Chapel and out onto the Hanger Straight once again, running out over that painted surface again that's sort of midway across the track. That denotes the separation between this international layout and the full Grand Prix loop, but that's one white line that they are allowed to cross. They don't seem to be getting penalised for exceeding track limits at that particular corner. It's one of the few corners though where that's not an issue because most of the runoff areas here at Silverstone look very inviting, and particularly one on the exit of Stowe here in the dry conditions anyway, very tempting indeed to run wide there. Now you can see that Lyon was using a nice wide line through Stowe there, which holds him up on the way in, but then on the exit you saw the ground he makes, but actually it's going to be the number 12 car of Martin Ward that loses a position to Phil Wright. So Phil Wright goes through now into 5th, and it could soon become 7th position here, I fear, for Martin Ward. Not quite, line can't go around the outside at Club, but he's found that grippier line again. He's going to try and go around the outside on the exit, can't do it, cuts back to the inside again, but having run out over the curb, he's spun the front wheels up and loses a bit of that momentum coming onto the straight. So just the one position lost for the time being for Martin Ward. He is starting now to slip back down towards where he started on the grid line again with the outside manoeuvre through Abbey. Now that gives him the inside line through the left-hander at Farm, and then the braking point at Village. He should be ahead. He is ahead before they even hit the brakes actually. So nice move there, using the grip where they can find it, not necessarily on the traditional racing line, but finding the grip, using it well. Christian Line gains a position. You can really see that halfway through the race, maybe Martin Ward has used his tyres a bit too much because he's really struggling for pace now at this stage of the race and has lost 3 positions in pretty quick succession, really. Phil Wright, though, I'd say is closing in on Ben Leach, so that could be another position gain maybe for the number 63 car that really is starting to come on strong in the second half of the race. Some drivers maybe just taking a bit longer than others to get to grips with the conditions, find out where the grip is, and you can see the wide variance of lines through Stowe Corner is a testament to just how challenging the conditions are, and there's not necessarily one right line to be on. It's just a case of trying to find the one that works marginally better for you. And as the race goes on, maybe some drivers will land upon that perfect line a little bit more quickly than others. As we go on to now, though, the final lap of the race, so if you're going to make those last moves, you have to do it now, and it looks as though Christian Line is the man most likely to do so now because he's latched straight onto the tail of Philip Wright going in towards Abbey Corner, and Phil has got the green machine bearing down on him now. In fact, they're going to be side by side through farm. This, remember, is where Line got past Martin Ward on Apago on the left-hand side of the road, and now on the right-hand side, he dives up the inside in towards Village and picks up another position. So really good driving this from Christian Line into 5th position now from 9th on the grid. So he is somebody who maybe ought to do a rain dance before every race, because he's come on very strong in the inclement conditions. Down the hill they go, through the right-hander and onto the pit straight, and there's more side-by-side action behind, because I think Martin Ward has now been caught by the next car behind as well. This man, though, is being caught by nobody, because Ben Rushworth is about to come through the final couple of corners to take another race victory. This will be his 4th race win of the year, and it will pull him clear in the championship now from his nearest rival in Class A, Steve Sawley. Across the line he goes, and Ben Rushworth with a terrific win here at Silverstone. There's no one else in sight, really. The Citroen Saxo behind is a lap down. There is Steve Sawley in the background coming through to finish in 2nd place, but it's a 4th victory of the year for Ben Rushworth, and the stunning Honda Integra DC is victorious once more from Steve Sawley by nearly 10 seconds over Ben Leach in 3rd, with Christian Line 4th, Phil Wright 5th, then Martin Ward, Rodren Vella, Neil Stringfellow, Alistair Camp and Michael Winkworth rounding out the top 10. Ben Rushworth is the Class A winner, Christian Line wins in Class B, and 10th place overall for Michael Winkworth gives him a further extended championship margin in Class C. Our retirements: Charlie Collins, William Clifford, whilst Chris Southcott and Jonathan Swift were non-starters.
Ben, you're concerned about the little niggles which have put you out in previous races, so it's come away to win. You've got to be happy.
Oh, I'm really happy, considering we had a little niggle during that race again. I don't know what happened. Steve got a cracking start and managed to get in front, and I knew he was going to be really defensive, so I had to attack on the 2nd, 3rd lap, and I managed to squeeze around the outside. We had a small friendly touch, it was all good. And then started to make a little bit of a break, and then something started burning in the car. There was smoke coming in, some sort of fluids. It was leaking on the rear tyres, and it got so slick. The rear of the car was all over the place. So I was just concentrating for the rest of the race to keep it on the circuit. And luckily, I think Steve had some real front-end grip issues. He couldn't, because I just saw him falling back. And with me having problems and him falling back, I thought, that was really lucky. I got away with that one. Yeah, so I have to go find out what's wrong with it now.
Yeah, you got another race this afternoon, and the rain came down just at the start of that race as well.
Yeah, that was a bit annoying, but like I say, it's a leveler for everyone. It's not too big of a deal. I thought it was slippery at the start, and then it sort of got a bit more grippy towards the end. The real middle part was really, really slick, but it was all right. Managed to keep on the track.
Well, for now, go and enjoy it. Well done.
Cheers.